Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show about what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So this week I finished off some Relicblade miniatures, as well as some 3D print stuff and some Tabletop Worlds terrain for Joe McCullough's new game that's coming out in a few weeks, The Rangers of Shadow Deep. It's a cooperative solo play RPG tabletop game where rangers go on adventures and learn experience and level up, and their handy companions come with them. Then I also painted the latest sort of installment of my Caledonians for our ITS League for Infinity, and then I also painted a few other bits and bobs of sort of like generic villager dudes from North Star and the Frostgrave line to be in the Rangers, I guess, collection as well. Stuff coming up, I got some Song of Ice and Fire, I've got some more Infinity, and various other projects. Take a look at what got painted and then what is coming up. So here is the finished collection of stuff I painted this week. So we'll start off with the Rangers stuff. So first of all, I painted a Brawn Bear Killer. This is my Ranger. He's converted out of a Lone Guard kit from Relicblade, an arm swap basically, and then some bits and bobs from the Relicblade, or not Relicblade, the Frostgrave soldier's box, some rope and a bow. To make part of an outdoorsy type, ready to rock and roll and go fight some baddies. And we got his Raven Thaddeus, who comes from the Crowmaster kit from North Star for Frostgrave as well. I wanted to have like a companion that always came with him, and I thought the Crow was a neat model, and it just kind of worked. And then we've got Barry the Bagman, Perry the Pack Mule, and Larry the Looter, who are my three villagers, various kits. This is the Bard for Frostgrave from North Star. This is the Pack Mule, who's just like, he's your supply carrying dude that carries items. And then there's this just generic Frostgrave plastic that I painted up with some baggage and stuff. You occasionally need NPCs, villagers, and people to rescue in Rangers, and so I wanted to paint some up. A lot of people asked about the bases. The ones on these guys were made with a 1-inch circular craft hole punch and some textured plastic card from Plastcraft. They saw all manner of pre-textured plastic card that you can use. And then these are some 30mm lip bases. I don't know where they came from. Mike from Upper Deck Studios once gave me a bag of like 100 of them, and I've been slowly going through them. I'll have to find more soon because I'm almost out. And then over here on some 40mm bases, these, again, mentioning Mike from Upper Deck Studios, he's got a resin printer now. He just went on Thingiverse and found some cool spider models and printed them for me. I painted them up. And then those are based using green stuff and the texture roller from Green Stuff Worlds, the cobblestone one, to give some nice sort of like big textury bases that would be nice in generic fantasy. So this collection was for the first couple missions for Rangers. You'll see the Let's Play for that in a couple weeks when Joe lets me put it out. So if you're excited about Rangers of Shadow Deep, it's coming soon. And then I painted and based, it's funny, this is a mishmash right here. I had these, oh geez, from the time the channel started actually, Chris and Jay at Lords of War Games and Hobbies had a bunch of these, and they gave me 2 of them for like an initial terrain thing. So I didn't have any terrain when we first started, and it was pretty dinged up. It had done a lot of fantasy games, and because these Tabletop World stuff like kits are resin, when they wear really easily, the primer will wear on them and stuff, and the corners were all nicked up. And so what I did was I actually based them. And this is actually a tree stand from the Battlefield in the Box. Like I pulled the trees off of it, but it's the Battlefield in the Box tree stands from Battlefront. And then I based these, and that'll keep these hopefully a little bit nicer. They won't be banging up against things so much. So when I stick them in a box, they'll store better and keep them better off. And so this was painted with my airbrush. I used some Rust-Oleum Chocolate Brown primer just to give these things a fresh primer coat, basically. And then my airbrush to do all the tones. So some greens and some grays, some beiges, some wood color, wood tone. And then I just painted all the details and re-dry brushed when I super glued them down, or actually I Guerrilla glued them down, I re-dry brushed all of the turf, some of it darker where people have been walking and some of it lighter where they haven't. Added some static grass, which is a collection of static grass from, I believe, Tufts from Army Painter, and then Huge Minis for the static grass, and then a bunch of other things. But I only have 2 of these. I have one more base though, so I might try and get another Tabletop Worlds. They're beautiful, but they're super spendy. So I might try and find something else that's as nice. This is the smithy. You can see there's a forge in there, which is currently cold. And the roofs come off obviously so that you can go inside them and stuff too. But they're super nice, and I mean, most of the games I play, I won't need more than like 3 or 4 buildings like this, because like it's like 3x3 boards. You really just don't need that much terrain. You'll fill them up pretty fast, even to make a village or whatever. So I might grab a couple more pieces or something similar and base them up and paint them too. But for Rangers, it was perfect. Just enough terrain for a nice little skirmish. And then down here, I've got my this week's installment, because I'm a garbage person, and I've added Will Wallace. I'm now adding a little press guy. So you've got some Warcore hanging out there, ready to be a 3-point order in my Caledonians, and 2 Cameronians. Because what's one werewolf when you can have 2? I wish there was a second pose, but I really wanted a second one, so I just painted them with different fur colors. And yeah, those are my 2 Cameronians. Tufts are all from Gamer's Grass. To match, because I couldn't find my 40 mil finished bases from Gamer's Grass to match the Gamer's Grass bases that the rest of my Caledonians are on. And this guy's been done kind of in like a mid pattern, because he'll go with my Pano as well when I play with Joni. So that's why he's just a slightly lighter brown when I play. He'll spend time in other factions as well. And these guys were just standard paints I'm gonna use for my Caledonians, plus the difference of being giant werewolves and having fur. And I played a game with them this week. They were super fun. And you'll see what's coming up for them next week when we get over to what's coming up. So let's do that now. So might as well start with Infinity. I'm gonna do, this is actually my last building block for a while for my Caledonians, because next week we go to 300 points. The ITS week is in week 6, and that means that we're at the 300 point level, so the full game size, and I'm painting, basically my next 50 points is McMurrow, because why not go full werewolf and a war driver, and then I have, just to finish off painting sort of like my first batch of stuff to give me a couple options, I'm painting up another Galwegian, so I have 5 chain rifle Galwegians, and then what is it? That's the Mormir APHMG. So I can have the Harris team too if I want. So if I want to have a Harris team, I can. And then I've just got tons and tons and tons of Galwegians and werewolves and a hacker for doing hacker things. That war driver is a blessing in basically every area in the list. 19-point boarding shotgun, hacking device, super handy. I'm really excited about it. And then I'm going to jump over to work on my 2 most recent factions. I'm going to paint some stuff for TAC. I got my hands on Cold Front, so I have the new Vet Kazakh, so I can upgrade my ancient Vet Kazakh, or just do a 5-man Vet Kazakh core team. I guess it's only ever going to be 4-man, because they're wild cards. So they need someone from some other core team, I guess, to join. So whatever I feel like having, it can be a core team plus 4 Kazakhs, because here's the Vet Kazakh APHMG, which I have as well. Look, we're friends. We're made from the same dolly. That's my latest thing for TAC, is basically just upgrading my 2 Vet Kazakhs. I have a Strakovnik too, or yeah, Strakovnik? I think that's what it is. Strakov, the one with the linked canine antipode. I'm going to paint him as well coming up. He's in the very near future. And then I got an Oyuroi to go back to my JSA. I got this from Owen, actually. Someone shipped him. Someone was like getting out of the miniature wargaming hobby and shipped him just like a pile of stuff, because they're gonna throw it in the garbage. And they were just like, hey, do you want it? And so in there was an Oyuroi. He's like, hey, do you want this? And I wasn't planning on getting one, but now I'll try it out. I might as well. JSA all the way. I've had super much fun with my JSA, and I got a few miniatures to paint to finish up there too. I've got the Spec Ops. I think I've got the rest of the Keisatsu. The missile launcher I think I didn't paint yet from the support pack. I've got my engineer, my Toketsu engineer, whichever one the engineer is. I got the doctor paint already. And then I think I still have to paint the rider, Kuroshi rider. But I was gonna wait until the new bikes came in to do that too. And then who else is waiting to be painted there? Oh yeah, the boarding shotgun Kempete. I got that as well. And that kind of finished off. So those are my 3. I mean, these are my 3 factions I'm working on right now. It's TAC, Caledonians, and JSA for ITS Season X. And it's enough to keep me busy. So the league's been great, because I painted a huge amount of Caledonian miniatures in the last like 5 weeks. But these 4 will round it off. I'll take a break from them for a while. Take a break from painting kilts, and then paint Russians, and then paint a tag, because I haven't painted a tag in a while. And they can be super fun to paint. And then about 2 weeks from now, I got Spencer coming in with his Boltons to play some Song of Ice and Fire. So I picked up, it's finally available. There's some stuff available actually in retailers outside the starter set. So I grabbed the Stark Heroes box and the Tully Sworn Swords to give myself some more options and change some stuff up. So I'm stoked with the heroes. I've got Roderick Cassell, who is it? The Kranich Man. I can't remember his name. The hunter guy. And then Brennan Tully, the Blackfish, to go with my other Tullys over here. We've got Bran and Hodor hanging out with Summer, the big wolf. And then Eddard Stark, you know, because he was dead when most of this happened, but we've got Eddard Stark, which is cool. I don't paint these guys up. I'm pretty excited about them, actually. They're going to add some, like, for instance, Bran and Summer are probably the biggest thing here, because they give you another activation, because Summer is another direwolf to go with Grey Wind. And that means, you know, just 2 free activations, which is huge in Song of Ice and Fire. Ned's pretty cool. I'll give him a try. He's got some neat tricks. Brennan's pretty cool as well. I don't know if they'll replace Rob for me, but they're all great. And Roderick Cassell has some cool NCU abilities if I don't want to bring Sansa. I don't think I'll ever not take... what's her face? Not take Cat, but I might drop Sansa for her. Summer's pretty, everything here is in great shape, except Summer's kind of doing a lean. She's kind of doing like a surfing thing here. I'm gonna have to melt her or pop her off her base and like glue her back down because she's sort of at an angle. That's the only thing that's not been great about these precast miniatures so far, is just sometimes the cooling process, things warp, right? So she needs to be fixed a little bit, but everything else in here is perfect. Blades are all nice and sharp. It's funny, if you look at these, the arms are actually, I think, a different plastic than everything else, which keeps the blades from being too bendy. I think this is the only one that was a little bit bent. But again, easy to fix, just some hot water, and I can reposition that. But for the most part, everything's in great shape. So I'm going to clean them up a little bit, put some basing material on them, throw some primer on them, and then I'll have 2 new lists. One, I think, featuring Brendan and the Tully Sworn Swords, and another one featuring Brandon Hodor and probably Ned to try when I play against the Boltons. So you go, another on the paint table in the books. Another 6, 9, 14 miniatures and 2 pieces of terrain this week, with lots more to go. Lots of projects, lots of pans in the fire. It's been nice actually to have this ITS League for painting Infinity models, because it kind of gives some structure to what I'm painting. I would highly recommend, if you have a local Warcore and you haven't run one, ask about it, because it's great. It's great for introducing new players, and it's great for getting projects done kind of with a deadline, but not so fast. 50 points of Infinity can obviously just be 1 model sometimes. So my Caledonians being kind of an exception, most folks I think have painted probably 10 or 12 models this it's going on 6 weeks now, 6-week period. And it's been really good. Also, if you're excited to paint some fantasy models and just kind of gradually paint collections of monsters and heroes, you should be excited about Rangers Shadow Deep, because it gives some great structure as you go through the missions on what monsters you need and what heroes you have. So all of this kind of encouraging my painting, getting me to just do little tastes of things as opposed to grinding out huge projects. That's been a lot of fun. So we'll see you next week on Saturday for more on the paint table, and you can see what I get finished. Next time I'm Ash. Happy wargaming. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.